गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are in Amrit Anubhav, chapter 2, the glory of the Guru, Sri Guru Stavana, OV number 71. And we had seen, so what does it say here? Sri Nivritti Nathji is not opposed to Pravritti, that is the manifest world of opposites, but is the pure one who is beyond any vritti, that is thought of duality. And we were looking at the word Nivritti, that is this the Guru's name of Jnaneshwar Maharaj, his elder brother. And this Pravritti Nivritti is only in the phenomena. And phenomena is the mind. And mind is nothing but consciousness with thoughts. So, who is Nivritti? Nivritti is he who is supporting the phenomena of pravritti and nivritti, involvement and withdrawal, which is at the phenomenal level. And what is this phenomena? Is it separate from him? No. It is expressing through that one only. So how is this support happening of the phenomena? The support is happening, it's happening, he's not doing it. It is happening without losing the oneness of experience or with the self. The phenomena of husband, wife, etc., all the roles that you are playing, it is happening without losing being the man. Same way. The phenomena of ornaments is coming about or without losing the gold. So same way. But we have taken ourselves to be the role, that, and the whole problem begins. We have to come back to as Nivrittinath is. Here he says, the truth is beyond dvandva or dualism and can be known only by dropping the mind and going beyond the influence of the pairs of opposites. So where are the pairs of opposites? Only in the mind. Subject and object, in and out, top and bottom, me versus you. See? In the space, there are directions. East, west, north, south, northwest, northeast, southwest, southeast. Now, because there are directions, is the space, oh my God, should I expand in the north, or should I expand in the east, or should I expand in the west, or should I expand in the west? Nothing like that. Space supports the directions but is independent of the directions. So what are the directions? They are a superimposition on the space. What are ornaments? They are forms superimposed on the gold. What is mind? The phenomena of the mind, it is a superimposition on that one without a second principle. Now you want to think of this one without a second principle through the mind. And that's where we fall on our nose. See, you have to take a position where we are able to see the phenomena without getting affected by it. But we want to think of the essence, the source, through the phenomena. That is not possible. And that's what we are attempting here also. So when we are coming to the, why do we take these type of texts? Why do we study scriptures? So that the phenomena doesn't take us for a sixer. Sixer means going into rajas or tamas. So we are engaging with our phenomena called the mind with the scriptures, so that it comes to the sattva, and from there, as we are studying, as you are listening, even as you are listening and your mind is having these thoughts, what are being heard, you are able to, while listening is going on, you are able to disengage from the thoughts and fall back into the original you. Because you are always that. It is not a process. The process, the journey is in the mind. To know the self, to be the self is not a process. It is your natural state. And that is what is told here as the truth is beyond dvandva or dualism. So Dvaita is in the mind, Dvandva is outside. Opposites. Opposites are in the mind. And opposites are nothing but phenomena. And phenomena is nothing but a superimposition on the truth. And truth is that is my natural state. So function from that point all the time. Take that position. It's question of habit. You have to make. Initially you will think and go back, think and go back, but it has to click one day. And once it clicks, the motherhood clicked. Nobody taught you how to be a mother. Nobody taught you how to be a father. It clicks. When we were learning the English language, PUT, put, GUT, gut. Huh? Some people say the, 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 some people say the. And it goes on. So many issues are there with the language. But one day it clicked. For that, so many times our parents must have corrected us, so many times our teacher must have corrected us, so many times our friends must have corrected us. And one day it clicked. When you really, enough man, कितनी बार मैं अपने को correct कराऊंगा, I'm tired of that. How long I am going to think about the truth? How long I am going to think about the self through the mind? Until unless you don't feel tired about it, till then it will not click. You have to exhaust. And whether that is one way of looking at it. But the fact remains that the truth is the kutastha, self is the substratum on which the entire phenomena of words, understanding, and the Jeev Jagat Ishvara comes and goes. Now we continue from here. This Nivritti Nath, my Guru Maharaj, is established in oneness in pure consciousness. In his vision, consciousness is the material out of which the ornaments called the waking, dream and deep sleep states are created. See how beautiful. Who knows that there is waking, dream and deep sleep? Our intellect knows. They are expressions of our intellect, these three states. Waking, dream, deep sleep and samadhi. They are expressions of our intellect. In the end, they are just thoughts. Dream is a thought. Waking is a thought. Sleep is a thought. Samadhi is a thought. And here he says that In his vision, consciousness is the material. So, upadan karan. This creation, when we say is made up, there is a creator and there is a material out of which this creation has been made. Just like there is a stone, the material out of which a statue will be created, and who will create it? The sculptor will create it. In this creation, the sculptor is also the self and the material is also the self or the Ishvara. But here we can take whichever way you don't get confused by those two terminologies, because God knows He is one and the same with the self. So consciousness is the material out of which the ornaments, what are the ornaments? The waking, dream and deep sleep, the three experiences. What is there in the waking? There is a waker, there is a waking world, and there are the waking instruments through which the waker interacts with the waking world. Same is happening in the dream. There is a dreamer, there is a dream world, and there is a dream equipment or dream body. And in the deep sleep, there is absence of the two. So these three ornaments are mere expressions or are made out of the material of called the consciousness. Just like the waves are made out of the material called the water. Water is infinite, but that wave is thinking it is finite. Wave is thinking it is in competition. The wave is afraid of its own death. And it is trying to realize, I have to realize water before I die. I have to realize water before I die. This is what we are trying. We have to realize before we die. But we are already that which we are seeking. That we are not ready to accept. These three states are created. In that wisdom, he is not opposed to anybody, anything, anywhere, at any time. See? He is like a mirror. Mirror is not opposed to anybody, anything, anywhere, at any time. In other words, what will be the statement? The mirror accepts everything, rejects nothing, and retains nothing. So what is our true nature? What is our essential nature? What is our natural state? Accept everything, reject nothing, retain nothing. Think. The eyes accept every form, reject no form, and retain no form. So also the ears are accepting all the sounds, rejecting no sound, and retaining no sound. So also with all the five senses. Now come to the mind. Mind is also accepting all the thoughts that are erupting, rejecting no thoughts, and retaining no thoughts. Continuous flow of thoughts is going on. Intellect also, it accepts all convictions which are nothing but thoughts. So let's stop at thoughts. Or if you convictions are some ideas. But from childhood till now, so many ideas have come, so many things we have got convinced about. And then they change. We don't fight the change. The new ones come. So also, Atma, the self, it also is not attached. It allows the appearance of waking, dream and deep sleep to come, and samadhi to come and go and come and go and come and go. So there is no attachment only. There is no It is not opposed. Here the top point we are taking is opposition. It is not opposed. If it was opposed, when as a seeker we oppose it. See no evil, hear no evil, talk no evil. This is opposition. You are going against nature. The moment you take your hands away from the eyes, immediately something will be seen. When we force our mind not to think of something, that will be thought more. So instead of this, why do we pursue these type of approaches? Chitta vritti viroda nirodha iti yoga. This is a willful pursuit of dissolving all the thoughts. Yoga is a willful pursuit. Dharana dhyan is a willful pursuit. Samadhi also is a willful pursuit. There is a desire. There is a desire to reach somewhere, desire to be absorbed into something, desire to wean away from the world, from the body, from the breath, from the mind, from the thoughts, from the convictions. Then chitta vritti nirodha. Then what will you do after that? After you come out of samadhi, again the thoughts will come, again the breath, again the body identification. How long will you keep going in this yo-yo of withdrawal and then involvement? Pravritti, nivritti, pravritti, nivritti. Pravritti is the involvement into the body, breath, mind, intellect and the world, and nivritti is withdrawal from the same. This is the nature of the phenomena, and we have to recognize, as the Mahatmas have, that the material that has gone into the phenomena is nothing but the truth, nothing but the self. Now take this example. The material that has gone into the wave is nothing but water. Wave is a phenomena. It is existing in its own absence. You touch, feel, taste only water. Same way, this body, this mind, this searching, this seeking, this world is only a phenomena. Then what is in its place? I am, the truth is. But this phenomena is so big, I am only this much in this body. No, change that. This self is infinite. And start thinking from its point of view. If you have to think, start thinking from the source point of view. What will be the disposition of the self which is supporting everything, which is the creator of not creator, but it is the material which has gone into everything that you experience as the Jiv Jagat Ishwar. Then what will be your language, if at all? Because mind is there. If you have to put it, then it will be like this: that this self is not opposed to anybody. This self is not opposed to anything. This self is not opposed to anywhere. This self is not opposed to any time. In other words, self, I am that. The disposition, this is explained. The mind is trying to articulate it. And what is that? That self is that which accepts everything, rejects nothing, retains nothing. Self accepts the four states, waking, dream, deep sleep and samadhi. It rejects none of them, but it doesn't create a memory out of them. Now start living like that. And then when you start living like that, then the question should not come. But this again, you are taken phenomena. The moment you say but, you are taken phenomena as the real. Get out of the comfort box. All answers to your questions are within you. And questions are only because you have accepted the phenomena as real. You have accepted the mind as real, or intellect as real, or individuality as real. That's why the questions. You have accepted the seeking as real. In that wisdom, he is not opposed to anybody, anything, anywhere, at any time. He is not limited by desha, kala, vastu, space, time, and object, and is fully established in Atma Jnanam. We are also fully established because we cannot be without the substratum. But we have to recognize it. We have to recognize it. You have to recognize it. So recognize it. That's why we are coming to satsang. That's why we are taking satsang after satsang every day. So that one day it clicks. And it is, and that natural state is not a click. It is always. That click we are talking about is just like a woman in front of husband clicks and the wife comes out of her. In front of the children, a click without any thought process, the mother comes out of her. In front of her mother, without any thought process, the daughter comes out of her. That is a click. An effortless disposition. So why there is so much effort in being that which you are already? See, we are creating a problem for ourselves. In such a vision that is turned inwards, antarmukha, the pure consciousness is not restricted by the four aspects. Antarmukha does not mean closing your eyes and closing your ears and closing your senses and closing your mind. That is not antarmukha. But initial stages, that is how it is explained. Antarmukha means where we are aware of our own conscious being, in spite of the thoughts, in spite of the senses, in spite of the world, in spite of the waking, dream, deep sleep and samadhi. See? So what is that? In such a vision, which vision? The vision of being the one, being the Atma, being established in the self, in such a vision that is turned inwards, which is ever aware of itself. The pure consciousness is not restricted by the four aspects. Huh? So pure consciousness is not a concept, the self. The pure consciousness that I am is not affected, is not restricted, is not opposed by the four aspects. What are they? The knower of the object, pramata, knower. So when we are interacting in this phenomenal world, so just take an example of the phenomenal world called waking. There has to be a knower of this world. There has to be the known. So here first one, pramata. Pramata is the knower of the object. So okay, world may be big one, this bottle. So this is a bottle, I know this is a bottle. Without the knower, the knowledge that this is a bottle will not happen. If there is no knower, knowledge cannot take place. This knowledge takes place only at the phenomenal level. Understand this, not at the self level. Self is always, what is the nature of the self? All knowing. Why does it need any knowledge? So we are talking about empirical knowledge. We are talking about phenomenal knowledge. And phenomenal knowledge is that knowledge which comes and goes, which is temporary, which is about some name or form. Knowledge of, what you call, knowledge of the experiences. So here the first aspect, there must be a knower of the object, pramata. And this essential self that I am is not influenced by the knower. The knower known and knowing is happening in the phenomena. Phenomena is only happening at the equipment level. And the Atma is independent of the equipment, is independent of the knower known knowing, experiencer experiencing. So in what we have done, we have become, I am the listener at this moment, I am the speaker, and we forget the self, which is independent of listening, which is independent of the listener. Listening is a phenomena that is going on. See? You are independent. So which one are you? Are you the listener or are you the infinite one? So the knower of the object, pramata. Second, the instrument of the knowledge, the antakarana, mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar. See? So Atma is not restricted and nor is it opposed. Restricted means it is not enslaved by mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar. It has not lost the plot. The Atma has not lost the plot that, oh my God, now mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar are coming and oh my God, these equipments are a problem. I need to destroy them in order to be free. I have to break open the shackles. Nothing like that. And yet these thoughts are sometimes presented in the beginning stages of sadhana. Because the student is not ready to understand. Understanding comes when our mind is calm. He is so besotted, so much taking the world to be real, the phenomena to be real, that he is completely lost the plot. Even as a seeker, he takes the body to be real. The moment he takes body to be real, then will he understand all this? If he takes physical body to be real, then only thing he can think of is yoga. If he thinks pranas to be real, then he cannot think about all these thoughts that we are studying. He will only do pranayam. If he thinks the parents to be real, the world to be real, then he will only do where his reality is stuck, his mind is stuck. So the instruments of knowledge cannot restrict the Atma. So mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar, they are at the phenomenal level. They are the instruments which the knower uses in order to experience the world. See? Third, the object of the knowledge. This is the object. the Atma, the self, at this very moment is free, independent of the object. Whether this object is there or not there, who cares? Whether the thought of the object is there or not there, who cares? Whether I recognize this as a bottle, I don't recognize this as a bottle, who cares? Whether the knower is born to know comes about to know the bottle or doesn't come, who cares? Atma is independent, it's self-established. It doesn't depend on anything. But it is supporting the phenomena. Yesterday I was talking to someone and they're just like our TV screen. TV screen is there, and when the movie begins, we don't see the screen. We see the movie, we see the depth, we see the space, air, fire, water, earth. We see the emotions, we see the people, we see the circumstances, we see love scenes, we see the killing scenes, murders going on. We see corruption, we see good deeds and bad deeds going on. But is the screen of the TV affected by anything? We see the colors, we see the days and years passing. But is the screen of the TV affected by the phenomena of the movie? But it is supporting the whole phenomena. Exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. So what is the material which has gone into every character? All those things that I just mentioned, all the people, all the individuality is also there, their bodies are also there, space, time, space, air, fire, water, earth is also there, space, time and objectivity is also there, past, present and future is also there. What is pervaded by fully? The screen of the TV is pervading all this in the movie, but it is not seen. But do you know that this movie is taking place on the screen of the TV, even though you are not able to see it? Yes, only if you give attention to it. Exactly the same way, this entire phenomena is supported by the self, but the self is not conditioned, enslaved, restricted, nor is it opposed to the appearance and disappearance of this phenomena. So first was Pramata, the knower, second was the Antakaran, third is Prameya, the object of the knowledge, and the fourth is Pramiti, that is the knowledge of the object. Where is the knowledge of the object taking place? In the mind, as a thought. See? So neither the knowledge is able to influence the Atma, nor the knower is able to influence the Atma, nor the object is able to influence the Atma, nor the memory or conviction is able to influence the Atma. Antakaran is able to influence the Atma. Atma is independent, and that I am at this moment. See. This abhyasa is done by keeping the eyes open but not focusing them on any particular object, not registering any object without blinking. It's almost like Trataka then. But we are not doing Trataka. Trataka, our focus is on a flame or on a dot or on an object. We are not doing Trataka here. Our attention is on the self. But we are not opposed to the forms that are there. We are not opposed to the sounds that are there. We are not opposed to the thoughts that are there. And yet, in spite of them being there, we are attentive about the unchanging, the essence, the permanent, which supports all the changes but itself undergoes no change. That I am. It's not a concept. Keep thinking about it, keep contemplating in this manner again and again and again and again and again. Like after my knee orthoscopy, for last 3-4 years I have not been able to sit cross-legged. And now in this lockdown, last 1 week, I took it upon myself. No, I have to sit cross-legged on the floor. My leg, one leg goes down, but the other one is always like this. Some lock up in the hip or whatever, or the knee, because it was not used. I have not sat down for 4 years now. And yesterday, after 4-5 days of stretching and loosening the glutes and massaging and doing different asanas, yesterday for half an hour I sat cross-legged, not on the floor, on the bed, on the mattress, but for half an hour. Oh my God! Wow! Still requires, the knees are not going flat on the ground. It will happen. But yesterday, after so much, will it happen or not? I am getting old. Mean attention is on the body. I am not flexible. Attention is on the flexibility. But when it clicked, suddenly my right knee just went down. Oh, it was so much joy. Abhyas, practice. Again and again. See, when you go to this shooting range, whether with guns or with bow and arrow, you keep practicing and hone your focus, and eventually you will be adept at it. Eventually you will be adept at it. Same way, you have experimented again and again, applied in being the parent, and now it is second nature. You have again and again thought that I am the body. Now it is, you don't think that I am the body. You have accepted it without a thought. Same way, now we have to undo all that. How do we undo? By not saying that I am not the body. By saying that I am the spirit, I am the Atma Tattva, which is unopposed to everything, which is independent of everything, which is all that there is. What it is, I don't understand it, but I keep working towards it so that it clicks one day. The abhyasa is done by keeping the eyes open but not focusing them on any particular object nor registering any object without blinking. Colors and forms make no impact, have no stimulus for reaction, meaning when look at our eyes, they are illuminating the entire world of forms, all the colors. But are they affected by the colors? Are they affected by the forms? No. They continue to illuminate. Whether our ear hears sounds of beautiful sounds, music, bhajans, kirtans, instrumental music, or it hears the, what do you call those, that electric guitar and funky music, which is so disturbing. But is the ear affected? No. Its job is to listen. So whatever sound will come, it will Some days a beautiful bird comes here in the reserve next door, and so many birds are beautiful cacophony of sounds. The ears are hearing. And some days my friend crow comes and cow, 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 cow. He overpowers all their sounds. And the only thing you can hear is the crow crowing. The ear illuminates that sound also. But if at that time, oh, the crow has come, I think it is inauspicious. If the nightingale has come, it is auspicious. Gone. You have given the phenomena the importance. But the fact is, the ears are untouched by the sound because sound comes. It illuminates the sound and the sound goes away. See? So this should be our disposition even right now. Listen without being the listener. Colors and forms make no impact. So, forms make no impact on the eyes, sounds make no impact on the ears, taste doesn't make an impact on the tongue. Because if it had made an impact, the situation will be the child has made an impact on the parents, they remain stuck with the children. The house has made an impact on the owner. The owner thinks this is my house and he will stay stuck in that house. Tongue doesn't say this is my taste. Ear doesn't say this is my sound. Eyes don't say this is my form. How come you are saying this is my child? This is my husband. This is my house. This is my car. Look how wrongly we are interacting with the world. And this is, we are talking about your own equipment, that no sense is attached to anything. Then who is this fool who is attached? Find out. No attachment is possible. No influence is possible. And yet we live as if we are at the mercy of this world. Nivrittinath is who is the master. Colors and forms make no impact, have no stimulus for reaction, and therefore no reaction. Once we have understood that the phenomena as a phenomena, then there will be no reaction to the phenomena. When you take phenomena to be real, then the response or the reaction comes. You don't take it real. Real can be only one, and that is the self, not the phenomena. Have no stimulus for reaction. In such Bahirdrishti, looking outside, and Antarlaksha, attention inside, the attention is on the pure consciousness which is present in all the four aspects mentioned above. This is called Shambhavi Mudra. Shambhavi Mudra, Antarlaksha Bahirdrishti. Allow the senses to do what their job is. What is their job? To illuminate. Eyes are illuminating the forms, ears are illuminating the sounds. Let them do. And mind also is a sense, the sixth sense. What is the mind doing? It is pumping out thoughts. Let it pump. It is illuminated. Thoughts are coming and going. Let them come and go. Then where is our attention? Not on the form, not on the sounds, not on the five stimuli, nor on the thoughts. Antarlaksha means our attention is on the principle, the illuminating principle. the permanent principle, the substratum. We don't want to be carried away by the thoughts. We don't want to be carried away, because if I look at a form as a form, immediately, if I'm not alert, if I'm not antarlaksha, I'm not aware of the self, immediately like or dislike will be created. Value giving creates like and dislike. So whether it is the stimuli of the world or it is the thoughts in the mind, if you give them value and attention and importance, immediately I like this thought, I don't like this thought. So when we say chitta vritti nirodha, as if the vrittis are an enemy of ours or what. Therefore in Vedanta, chitta vritti nirodha is there is nowhere there. Let the vrittis come and go, who cares? Take this mantra of who cares. Everything is okay. So, antarlaksha is, in Panchadashi this example comes, where the mother is thinking about her child who has not come from school, who is running late, 1 hour, 2 hours. But she's doing whatever the chores are required to be done at home. She's sweeping, she's cleaning, she's cooking, she's washing, she's folding the dry clothes. And in between, if the phone calls come, she's answering them also. She's giving the maid the instructions to do this and do that. But where is her attention? All this is happening. But where is her attention? Antarlaksha? On the child. So we have to develop this antarlaksha bahirdrishti. A very physical way of doing it is very physical. The mudra for it is you keep your eyes half open and half closed. So you are able to see a little bit of the world, and yet your attention is on the back of your eyelids, which is empty. So you are aware of both the presence as well as the absence. Shambhavi mudra. And in this manner, what a beautiful thought. In such bahirdrishti, looking outside, and antarlaksha, attention inside, the attention is on the pure consciousness. It automatically falls. When you understand eyes are half open and you are not allowing yourself to be disturbed by the form, whatever the eyes are seeing or not, whatever is little bit cognizable, and at the same time, see, you are coming into the middle. When eyes are half open means there is vision also and there is absence of vision also. Both at the same time. And when you come into the middle, automatically you fall back to being the illuminator of both the presence and the absence. Presence is the bahirdrishti, and the presence presence will be here, the open, that part of the open eyes, and absence will be the part of the closed eyes. See? And who are you? Who is illuminating the both? There is one still, Maharishi Punitachariji. Swamiji sent me to him many years ago. I stayed with him for 1 month in Girnar. His ashram there, and he is continuously in Shambhavi Mudra. Continuously. Even when he comes to Ahmedabad and all the people come to his flat to meet him and all that, he is ever in his Shambhavi Mudra. But he knows everything that is going on. Continuing. Here the verse Swamiji has said is Antarlaksha Bahirdrishtihi Nime Shaumesh Varjita Satu Shambhavi Mudra Tantra Shastreshu Gopita. In this way, Nivrittinath, the Guru Maharaj, is the one who is maintaining the state of dynamic equilibrium in a balanced and dynamic way. Shambhavi. Sham means equanimity, balance. That balance is not possible at the phenomenal level. The ultimate balance is the self, undisturbed by the phenomena. Right now you are all in Shambhavi Mudra. You know all the objects in the room that are there, but you are not disturbed by them. And if while listening sometimes your attention goes here or there, it doesn't make an impact on you. The bottle is there, the computer is there, you are all there in front of me, but no impact. It's not invoking a reaction out of me or out of you with regards to your environment. Because where is your attention? Where is your lakshya? Lakshya is on satsang. If your lakshya is on the screen, on the person who's speaking, on the words that are being heard, then you are that is bahir drishti. Can you stop that? No. Whether you are in a satsang or you are in the world, this bahir drishti cannot be stopped. It's a phenomena which is going on. Ears will hear, tongue will taste, nose will smell. Then where should be our... So right now this is bahir drishti going on, but where is our antar lakshya? Is our antar lakshya on the thoughts or it is on the one who is illuminating this bahir drishti? Or is it on that, as I keep saying, listening is, what is that principle because of which listening is possible? What is that principle because of which vision is possible? What is that principle because of which the knowledge that thoughts are coming and going is possible? Put your antar lakshya, put your attention on that principle. Without fighting with the senses, without fighting with the mind, without fighting with the world. I have to withdraw, I have to withdraw, I have to withdraw. No. All we need to do is shift our attention. Everything else will take care. We shift our attention to sleep and all the bahir drishti, the entire world which you are so aware of. The moment you think of the sleep, you bring your attention to the sleep, the whole world vanishes. When we put our attention on cleaning the teeth of some patient, at that time you are giving instructions to your nurse, but your attention is on the tooth. You're focused. You're using the instruments. You're giving instructions. You're using whatever is there to be done. But your attention is always on the tooth. You're not disturbed by what is going on because your focus is there. So where is our attention? And if at that time, if you are given value to all other things, then you will get agitated. There will be reaction. It should be bahirdrishti, antarlakshya. Bahirdrishti is on at the equipment level. They have to do their job. Let them do it. If you don't let them do their job, control your senses, control your mind, you're creating something artificial now. And that artificiality for a beginner seeker sometimes is helpful. So that what we are saying right now is, it clicks because his mind becomes calm. So if the mind is not becoming calm, then do all those exercises so that your mind becomes calm. And after becoming calm and getting exposed to this knowledge, then you don't have to do any yoga, or you may do yoga. You're not against anything. You're not for anything, you're not against anything. That is equanimous vision. Then you will not seek meditation. Meditation is not on the seat of meditation. Meditation has to be 24/7. If you are not in meditation at this moment while you are listening, then you can never be. If you are giving outside the status of reality, if you are giving equipments a status of reality, if you are giving samadhi a status of reality, if you are giving withdrawal from the world a status of reality, then it will be only a temporary experience. It will not be a permanent one. So we have to again fine tune. This is the fine tuning which Gnaneshwar Maharaj is giving us. That whether there is withdrawal or there is involvement, you remain untouched by it. Because involvement and withdrawal is happening at the equipment level. And we have given you enough example now. So in this way, Nivrittinath, the Guru Maharaj, is the one who is maintaining the state of dynamic equilibrium. See? In a balanced and dynamic way. Dynamic equilibrium means the phenomena is going on. Can you stop this phenomena from going on? The waking dream sleep, the waking dream sleep, the seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, thinking. Can you stop this? So what will be dynamic equilibrium? That we are not disturbed by the dynamism. This is dynamism. Movement is dynamism. Activity is dynamism. When does the disturbance come? When I feel I am the activity. I am the doer of the activity. That's when the disturbance comes. But if I take the position, as this verse was telling us, take the position and don't go to sleep. Because then it will be inert equilibrium. We want dynamic equilibrium. So when we are not disturbed by the dynamism of matter, of equipment, of the sattva, rajas, tamas, of the phenomena, then whether this dynamism comes to equilibrium or it goes out of equilibrium at the phenomenal level, the one who is illuminating this does not get disturbed. See? In this way, recognize yourself to be that one, to be the one, not that one, the one. Because that means again you are pushing it away from you. I am that. Which that भैया? कहाँ पे है वो that? No, I am. Full stop. With or without thoughts. This quality of the Guru Maharaj of being totally untouched by the Dvandva and Dvaita and not being opposed to anything is explained further by a beautiful example. आपणा देव निराती दिवसा आणि उन्नती आणि कारवारी निवृत्ती नवे तैसा. The night gives up herself for the arrival of the day, but the nivritti is not like that, who denies the other, that is, he is not existing in relation to or opposite to the other. Presence and absence at the phenomenal level means for something to be, for the presence of the day, the night has to go away. For the presence, for the night to be, the day has to go away. In the phenomena, if I am the wife, then the woman I have forgotten, or other roles I have forgotten. And if I have to become the mother, then I have forgotten being the wife. I can't be the wife at the same time. What will be the balanced, dynamic equilibrium? Being the woman, allowing both the role, all the other roles, yet not being affected by the roles. Because all the problems are at the role level, not at the body, woman level. So who is this nivritti? This nivritti is not the one who is in opposition to pravritti. Nivritti means withdrawal. So this nivritti is not that nivritti which is in opposition to withdrawal. Day is not in for the day, removal of night is a predisposition. It's foregone conclusion that both cannot express at the same time. I'm asking you, can they or can they not? Can the day and night express at the same time? I'm asking.
No, Swamiji, it can't.
No, they can. Go outside the Earth's atmosphere, you can see half the globe having daylight and half the globe having no daylight. True or not?
Yes.
So day and night is also a phenomena, no? So now you have gone out of where the phenomena, the conditionings which are allowing this phenomena to express, you have gone out of that conditioning which is in space. From there, when you look at the earth, you see half of it is day and half of it is night at any given moment. See? So we are not talking about, see, when you take the position, that both cannot express at the same time. You have taken a position in the phenomena. You have taken the position in the equipments. You have taken a position in the mind. Or you have taken a position in the world, or whatever. You have taken yourself to be the Gaunatma or the Mithyatma. But Nivrittinath is that supreme withdrawal which is not opposed to anything. So you go beyond. So you go beyond, and that beyond, the two, so to speak, is the Atma Tattva. Bring attention to that one. It's a very fine dissection within yourself through the equipments as you are going. See? Don't take a position that you know. So when I was giving you the example of the eyes, half open, half closed, so there is nothing as well as there is vision and there is absence of vision. Both happening at the same time, isn't it? Where is your attention when you are breathing? Is it on the in-breath or the out-breath? Try to catch both. Try to catch both. Try to catch the presence of the vision and absence of vision. Try to see the presence of thought and absence of thought at the same time. You will come into the center. You will come into the center. Okay. That is why all the sadhanas are told to be done at the Sandhya time. Juncture. See? So here he says, where are we? The night has to sacrifice her existence for the arrival of the day. The husband has to sacrifice his existence for the arrival of the father. The father has to give up his existence to allow the son to express. किसी की तो बलि चढ़नी है. Someone has to be sacrificed. Sacrifice means बलि देना. The night has to sacrifice her existence for the arrival of the day. But my Guru, Maharaj Nivrittinatha, is not like that. He does not have to deny or oppose anything in order to establish himself, because he is established in the non-dual knowledge that I alone is. See, coming to the same conclusion. He is not opposed to anything. If we are not opposed to anything, then what will be your disposition when you are moving around in the world? No comments, no opinions, no suggestions, until someone asks, what is your opinion of the Premier of Victoria or the Prime Minister of Australia? No opinion. Why we have to give opinion? And unnecessarily get into an argument? Then whether that person accepts or not accepts, who knows? But when we are talking about this topic, we are away from ourselves. We are thinking of the world. Remain alert, alert, alert. Antarlaksha. Ramana Maharishi was a live example. Antarlaksha Bahirdrishti. His attention was ever on the self, undisturbed by what is going on around. We get disturbed for small things. We get excited by small things. If things go our way, oh, yahoo! If things don't go our way, what have you made for lunch today? Yesterday's dosa. Again yesterday's dosa. Immediately we have got a reaction coming out. Except be a bhikshu like us. Whatever comes, eat. Yesterday's, today's, it doesn't matter. It's all prasad. That is Vanaprastha Jivan. See? So this Nivrittinath is who is unopposed to anything. Because, and why is he unopposed? It is not that he is practicing, I am not going to react to this, I am not going to react to that. That means he is still in the phenomena. He is still in the pravritti. This non-reactionary disposition is on account of him being established in the essential self. So let our withdrawal from the world, if it is happening, not be on account of escape from the world. Let our withdrawal from the senses not be on account of escape from the senses. Let our withdrawal from the mind not be an escape from the thoughts. When we want to escape, then we want to do some tapasya. Then we want to do fasts. Then we want to do, pranayam, yoga, pratyahar. We want to do intense sadhanas. Because we want to escape. Or we have an intense desire for something in return. It's okay. To begin, it's okay. But not where we are at this moment. We are talking about the natural state. And when one is established in their natural state, the non-dual, ekameva dvitiya, that I alone is, then from that point of view, there is no reaction, there is no opposition to anything. Space is not opposed to appearance of the creation or disappearance of the creation. So many galaxies are being born, so many galaxies are going out of existence every moment. See? So many new species and organisms are coming into existence on our planet. And so many are going out of existence. So many people are being born, so many people are dying. This is phenomena. Don't be disturbed by it. When it invokes a reaction, then we have given it importance. As a seeker, I am saying. Does Nivrittinath also not speak? He speaks. Does he not sleep? He sleeps. Does he not wake up? He wakes up. But it doesn't make a dent on the consciousness that he is. If it happens, so be it. If it doesn't happen, so be it. Because it's a happening. Spiritual life is a personal, direct affair. So all these things are not to be used to assess others. You want to fix the world. You can't fix the world. You can only fix yourself. Like, I cannot, we are told, every day wear fresh clothes. And I want to make the world wear fresh clothes. Dande padenge. Come, let me change your clothes. You will get kicks left, right and center. So where can you change clothes? Only on yourself. That's where you have the freedom. Isn't it? नहीं तो सब जगह पे जाके रास्ते पे whoever is coming, have you changed clothes? No, come, I'll change your clothes. Come, I'll teach you Vedanta. Don't apply it on others. Only apply it on yourself. This is so spiritual life is a personal, direct affair. You cannot search for the truth in others. You can only be the truth yourself, because that is your natural state. It is lived for its own sake and not for proving anything to anyone. sun is bright for its own sake. It is not being bright to give day and night to the earth and the beings on the earth so that they can regulate their day. That is not the purpose of the sun. We may superimpose that on the sun, but from sun's point of view, there is nothing called day and night. See? So, the spiritual life has to be lived. Uddharet atmana atmanam. Live in yourself, as yourself, for yourself. And what about the rest of the world? Who care a hoot? Give it a hoot. Who cares? You did not create it. Whoever created will take care of it. You take care of yourself. Is that not selfish? Is it not selfish? In that also the word self is coming. Self-ish. But that selfishness will become a blessing for everyone around you if you do that. They will say, thank God he is not involving himself in my life. Thank God he is not telling me what to do with my life. Thank God nowadays dad is locked up in the room. Thank God dad and mom are very quiet nowadays. There is so much peace. See? Don't interfere. Don't impose. The idea of imposition of your will on others comes because we are imposing ourselves on our mind, on our senses, on our actions. So when we become equanimous, when we become balanced, dynamic equilibrium he was talking, when we come back to being the self, then there is no imposition. Then everything is as it is. Phenomena is given zero value after that. And that phenomena includes this body, your relations, your possessions, this whole world. On this path, one is the disciple who is appearing for the test, and at the same time, he is also the guru who evaluates. Greater the sincerity and inner transparency, the easier it is for the world to drop from the mind. So it is that one truth. That one truth alone is expressing parents at one point of expression and children at another point of expression. Guru at one point, disciple at another point. It is the same space which is expressing as the inner space at one point and outer space at one point. It is the same mind which is expressing as form outside and words inside. See how everything is like that only. We have to just start looking at it in a different angle. So, one is the disciple who is appearing for the test. Who is the disciple? The jiva, the seeker. He is appearing for the test. And at the same time, he is also the guru who evaluates. So now he is coming down to our level. Guru, Shishya. Seeker and guru who teaches. Please put your sound off. Someone is having the sound on. So how will we pass the test as a student? How will we pass the test? The ingredient, sincerity and inner transparency, with full faith, with sincerely, not seriously. We take spirituality seriously. It is not seriously. We take spirituality to be mechanical acts. It is not mechanical acts. Mechanical act is taking the lamp and mechanical is chanting the mantra Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. This is mechanical. After some time, both interest goes away and we become cranky, and then we bark on others. So, sincerity will only happen when our goal is clear, our attention is antarlaksha, we are working towards that, to the ultimate essence, that is my nature, and continuously contemplating, why am I thinking of my nature when I am already that? Let continue the puja going on, let the chanting going on, let the speech go on, let the listening go on, but the attention must be on the essence, that I am that. And inner transparency. Don't live in your own imaginary world that I know it all. If there are some shortcomings, because as a seeker we have not reached that ultimate, our natural state, we are not abiding in the natural state. So be truthful to yourself. Where are the shortcomings? This transparency is not for the world. It begins from you. Are you aware of your own shortcomings? Are you aware where you are living with hypocrisy? See? So, very stand apart from the equipment and analyze, assess. Every night, I have given this exercise many times. Every night when you go to sleep, assess your whole day. Sort it out before you go to sleep. Nothing is left as carried over. When you go to sleep and you feel that what had to be done was done, and what was not required to be done was not done, or what was not done was not done. Hari Ichha. Only then we will bring the antarlaksha will come. Then we bring our attention to And if the mind is not there, I cannot let go of everything. What was not to be done was not done. No, okay, that means these desires are still lurking. These shortcomings are still there. Offer them at the altar of divine. It will be taken care of. Give up the ownership. Give up the responsibility. When you give up the ownership and responsibility, then there will be no reaction. Including the responsibility of realization. Because otherwise, this responsibility of realizing will create reactions towards the world who is becoming an obstacle in your realization. If that is people, circumstances, senses, mind, you will try to fight with it. Opposition. No. See? Greater the sincerity and inner transparency, the easier it is for the world to drop from the mind. And this capacity and ability each one of us has. When we go to sleep, effortlessly, without any reaction, without any opposition, without any sadhana, without any yoga pranayama, without any scriptures, without anyone teaching us, to drop the world gets dropped from our mind. Isn't it? Every night it happens. Who has taught you how to sleep? Did you read any scriptures? Please initiate me into sleep. Teri ki. Why you are going and asking, please initiate me into realization? Please initiate me to the self, into the spiritual path. You are spiritual, you cannot be anything else. You are the spirit. Imagining yourself to be the matter. That's where the issue begins. Therefore, initiation. Therefore, कान में मंत्र फूको. Therefore, sadhana. If you consider yourself to be the equipment, sadhana is required. When you take that position that the entire equipment or the phenomena is nothing but the self, then no sadhana is required. You are with yourself every moment and not opposed to how the life unfolds. Bahidrishti. And you are with yourself, antarlakshya. Withdrawal from the world consists in accepting the world as it is, along with the pairs of opposites. Our problem is that my child should be like this, my son should be like this, the furniture has to be moved around in the house, houses have to be changed, cars have to be changed. How many things? If I'm not getting along with my wife, then the wife has to be changed, or husband has to be changed. How many things will you change? You can change the infrastructure, but the structure is still corrupted. Sai Baba used to say, don't focus on infrastructure, focus on intrastructure. Let it get aligned, integrated. Outside is wonderful, beautiful roads, beautiful manicured gardens. Every suburb has schools, shopping centers, parks, creeks, playgrounds. But maximum mental problems. You go to poor countries, no infrastructure, but everyone is happy for no reason. Because they have accepted this is how it is. We have everything, that outside we have everything, but we want more. Can't even stay inside the house for 1 year. Think. Withdrawal from the world consists in accepting the world as it is. This world is a pair of opposites. There will be day and night, there will be change of seasons, there will be cold and winter. There will be, sometimes you will come across good people, sometimes you will come across corrupt people. Sometimes there will be peace, sometimes there will be war, sometimes there will be health, sometimes there will be ill health. Sometimes there will be pandemic, sometimes there will be no pandemic. This is the nature of the world. Accept it rather than oppose it, fight it. Why it has to happen now? As if it has never happened. Why there is so much of poverty in the world? As if there has never been proper poverty. Why there are wars going on? As if there are never wars going on. Always something is going on. By eating food once, you don't get satisfied. You have to keep working at it. In phenomena, nothing is permanent. So you eat breakfast, again after 4 hours you are hungry. Again you have to eat lunch. Again after 4 hours you are hungry. Again you have to eat dinner. Same thing at the worldly level. You have to work towards peace. You have to work towards the positive. Keep working. And so just accept it, that this is how the world is. If you are spiritual, you are not going there to improve the world. Then why am I giving lectures? For myself. Not for you. I don't care whether you are there or not. Then what will happen if all of us go away? Who cares? I am happy with myself. I don't need a lecture to prove anything. See? Yet, dynamically involved in the satsang, yet not accepting or rejecting satsang. Antarlaksha on the self. Bahirdrishti, satsang is going on. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Withdrawal from the world consists in accepting the world as it is, along with the pairs of opposites. When this withdrawal becomes natural, the mind quietens. It results in contemplation and Paramatma Drishti. When it becomes natural. Going to sleep is natural. Withdrawing from the world, withdrawing from the senses, withdrawing from the mind is unnatural. It is unnatural. And why do we go into that path of withdrawing? Arre, ho gaya, 10 baj gaye. Quickly. Why do we go on that path of withdrawal from the senses, withdrawal from the mind? Because we are not doing the first step. We are not involved. When we are living in this world, we are not living the correct way. Yama niyama. We are not practicing. We are not seeing the world as an expression of the divine. We are not seeing ourselves as the expression of divine. We are in the attitude of use and abuse. And therefore, I must use this body to come to the truth, because I have not accepted that I am the truth. I must withdraw from the body, breath, mind, intellect. It's only because I have not accepted that body, breath, mind, intellect are a part of the phenomena, and the phenomena cannot be without the original truth, the self. So the natural, frictionless, effortless living is only possible from the self point of view. Effortless living is not possible from the equipment point of view. Well, actually, equipment is also functioning effortlessly because each one is doing their job. So the effort is for this idiot who has taken the equipment to be I rather than the self to be the I. For him all the efforts are. And that idiot, the seeker is. So he must continue till it clicks one day. यार मैं बेवकूफ बना रहा हूँ अपने आप को. And when the mind becomes quietened naturally, not out of force, then automatically the thoughts of wisdom, the thought of contemplation, the thought of something higher, they automatically come. Quickly I'll read this and we'll conclude. The word of nivritti also means he who does not have to reject anything. In other words, he is the embodiment of love. Love is acceptance without logic. Where love is, Paramatma is manifesting. This is Guru Nivrittinath. Again, love means accepting everything, rejecting nothing, retaining nothing. That is true love. Love is not kissing and smooching and hugging. लव इज नॉट सेइंग आई लव यू क्रॉस क्रॉस क्रॉस. वो भी क्रॉस के साथ लव एक्सप्रेस करते हैं. अरे टिक मारो. विल थिंक कॉन्टम्पलेट ऑन दिस लिटिल बिट इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास. ओम पूर्णमदा पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरिः ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरिः ओम. Sit silently for half a minute.